Hello and welcome to Ibby's Digital Nomad Stories, featuring real conversations with professionals who've cracked the code to sustainable nomadic lifestyles. These people aren't beach and Wi Fi chasers, they're building competitive advantages that traditional employment could never match. Global mobility, income diversification, and the freedom to capitalize on opportunities anywhere. I'm Ibby Malik, your favorite digital nomad consultant. And today I'm joined on the show by Sarah Coles, someone who spent 6 years as a career counselor questioning people about their dreams, and she was brilliant at it. She would ask, "What makes your heart beat? What is your biggest dream?" Questions that most people had never been asked. But then her perfect job offer landed. Everything she wanted on paper, but her body said no. It was not her dream, not her calling. So she walked the Camino de Santiago, 900 kilometers across Spain with no preparation and an injured knee, expecting solitude and healing. But instead, interestingly, she discovered that transformation happens in community, not in isolation. So now she lives her dream in community, working with co-livings to help digital nomads reconnect with the dreams they forgot they wanted. Here's Sarah. Where do we start? Wait, so you were a career consultant in Brussels.
Yeah, not really consultant. I was career counselor. I gave guidance to people that were unemployed. I was working in the public sector.
Okay.
So if you had lost your job at some point, you would end up at my desk.
And you would help them?
I would help them and guide them back to the way to work. Yeah, back to employment, I would say. But hopefully also one of their dream jobs. That was always my purpose, at least.
So even that was about their dreams.
I know. And that's, I think, the part that I like the most about that job is I got to hear so many different dreams and people talking about their passions. And usually I would start the interviews with that, like, what is one of your biggest dream? Or if you had the chance to, or if you could choose whatever job, what would you go for? And what makes your heart beat? For some, of course, there was always there were still a lot of obligations. Could be financial obligations, social, family. And they felt like they couldn't really afford to dream. Which was also, I had to take that into consideration, of course, because even though we were talking about their dream job or dream life, sometimes we had to focus on other stuff first. I don't know, I heard so many different stories, but maybe someone was taking care of a sick parent so it's not always possible, but I would always lead like the beginning of the interviews or the coaching sessions with that. And that's what I like the most about my job. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's really cool because it's like now you're helping people connect with their dreams, in the world that you're currently in now. But it was a similar thing, just in a different context before. And I guess the challenges also would have been similar. Like, did they feel trapped? Did the people that were coming to you, did they feel trapped and like, oh my God, I have these commitments and my family and this and that, and I can't afford to dream? I don't know, was that a thing?
Yeah, for some of them, for sure. I think a lot of them were also surprised by the question.
Which question?
Well, if I asked them, for example, if you had a magic wand and you could do anything, what would you like to be, to do? Or and they had never asked themselves their not all of them, but some of them, and were kind of surprised, especially because I was in like the conversations we had and the sessions, there was also the notion of, it was mandatory for them to come because a lot of them had unemployment allowances. And so
they had to have it.
Yeah, the whole structure and being like very official as part of the public sector. And so for most of them, that was, I think, a little bit, it came as a surprise to have a counselor that was asking that kind of question. But I was also trying to think out of the box because or else it was very or it could be at least very structural with a lot of obligations that come with it. And I thought, no, I mean, this cannot be the only reason I'm here. Like, I also generally want to help those people, get at least one step closer to the dream, or at least plant a little seed of maybe that could happen. Maybe not now, but then in a nearer future, it could happen.
Something that can grow.
Yeah, exactly.
And how long ago was this?
So I started that job in 2018 and I stayed 6 years. So I quit my job in 2023, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
23.
Yeah.
That was a couple of years after COVID.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so what was the journey? What was like the, oh my God, this one, I don't know, did you have one of those things where I'm burnt out and I want to change my life, or what was the journey?
Yeah. I think the 2 first years of my job, I was still learning a lot and really loving my job. Then soon after that, COVID happened. We were forced to work from home, but actually that had never been an option because it was a very human job where we had to meet the people in person. So when we got sent home and had to do that job remotely, it became very hard for me. Like I was missing the human contact and the human connection. That was also one of the reasons I got into that job, because
to connect with the people.
To connect with the people. And a lot of them weren't very comfortable with any kind of IT tool. It can be even doing like an online video call. For a lot of the people that I was meeting with, either some of them didn't have internet at home, some of them, so they were, how to explain this? I felt more and more disconnected from them. And I think they also kind of got lost in the process. And we lost a lot of people that never came back to the office afterwards. And that lasted for a few months. And then slowly we could go back to work. But for me, I felt like I couldn't do my job over the phone, or I was more losing time trying to explain people how to connect online than actually helping them. So I kind of started to feel tired and losing the whole purpose of why I was doing that job. And also when we came back, because I was working in the public sector, it was also very political, because depending on the election and who was the Minister of Employment, the rules would change. And I think I felt more and more disconnected with the values and why we were doing that. Some politicians were making decisions without realizing what was happening on the field and what was the reality. And even so, for me, there was like a big injustice and feeling of injustice, and that's kept on growing in some way. So helping people getting a job or finding their way back to a job, and if possible, like a fulfilling job, was still my purpose, but I didn't have the means to do it anymore because they saw those people as numbers, and they started seeing them as numbers, and we had to do more and more interviews a day with less and less time. And I was like, how are we supposed to help people if we don't have the time to understand their living situation, their social living environment? There's so many things we need to take into consideration. And sometimes even before starting to talk about a job or going back to work, there might be other problems we need to help with first. And so, I felt that the working environment, I wasn't aligned with their values anymore. And that kept growing. One of the perks of working in the public sector was that I could take career breaks with still having job security afterwards. Yeah. So I could take up to 5 years if I wanted to. Like I wouldn't have a salary, but I could like interrupt my contract, go do whatever I wanted, except for taking another job, of course, and then come back and still have job security. So that's gave me a lot of relief because I always had itchy feet. I always loved traveling. That's like my soil, what nourishes my heart. It's to meet international people, to discover new places. And so I thought, well, I need a break from that and get some distance, like take some distance from work. And so I did it the first time in 21. COVID was still there. There were some lockdowns, but between two lockdowns,
you took a break.
Yeah, I took a break, a 4-month break.
4 months?
Yeah, 4 months. I mean,
some people don't take 4 months in their whole lives as a break.
I know. Well, the minimum was 3, but I could have done more. But I don't know. I thought, okay, 4 seems like a good number. And first I went to travel to, I think I went to Portugal. And did some volunteer work. I did a lot of workaway projects. I don't know if you're familiar with...
Which way projects?
Workaway. The platform Workaway, Help Exchange, Woofing.
No.
They're platforms where you can find a lot of different projects. It can be ecological farming. It can be working in a hostel. I mean, the range is really wide. And I always chose... projects related to hospitality because that had always been one of the things I loved, and I love welcoming people.
Such as?
In Portugal, I was working in, it was, I would say a yoga retreat center. And they didn't only host yoga retreats. You could also come there as a guest, but it was... a beautiful old, I think it was 18th century, like place in the mountains in Algarve in Monchique. And so I worked there for 2 months, I think. There were not a lot of guests as it was still COVID. But I don't know, I love making people feel at home. And so I would always choose that kind of project. I also, a few years later, during another career break, I went to Italy, and... there it was, the project was called Gate into the Wild. And it was also, there's always mountains and somewhere remote rural project that I choose. But I would say that would be the pattern. And there they had like different kind of accommodations. You could sleep in like big tents, like tipi. I don't know if that's how you say it. Yeah. Or in like vans that weren't driving anymore, but you could sleep in them. Or there were like 2 houses as well. And there was really a sense of community. Every night you could eat, all the guests were eating together. So I think I always chose that kind of projects.
It sounds like your kind of place from what I know about
exactly. You. Yeah. And I would say my second career break, that was in 2020. No, 22, 23, it overlapped, I think. That's where I really reached a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore at work. I started to feel I really needed something else. At first, I thought, I'm missing like really being on the field. Like I felt really stuck behind my desk. Like, yes, I want to help people. Yes, I'm having like human connection, but this cannot be it. Like just being stuck. Like I'm someone who needs movement. And so when I kind of felt this, I don't know, I felt like I was locked in a golden cage because I had the job security. There was still a little bit of purpose, but at the same time, I felt like I couldn't leave. I couldn't breathe freely. And so...
Did you feel trapped?
I felt trapped. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And then I thought, okay, well, maybe... I can still help people, and I love work with younger people, young adults. I think they're still full of wonder, and their ability to dream is still like a little bit untouched. Like as you grow, I feel like sometimes you lose that sense of wonder, and that's something either with children or young adults, teenagers. I feel like it's still very present in them. Yeah. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna work with young adults and still like related to finding your way back to work. But then I wanted to be more on the field. So I started to apply for a new job. And I actually had some interviews. It went very well. And one day I get a call and they tell me that they want to hire me. And I don't know, I started to really listening and paying attention to how I felt, and like also paying attention to my body and how it was responding to that. And I didn't feel like, when you really want something, you feel excited about it. I didn't feel that sense of excitement, and which really surprised me in some way. It was
like you thought it would give you that, but it didn't.
Yeah, because my job would have been to go to different high schools in Brussels and help the students that were in their last year of high school prepare for the professional world, or helping them making a decision whether they want to go study or work. And I thought this is amazing because I can get in touch with them and interact with them, and also kind of communicate the message that everything is possible, and whatever you choose, if it feels right and aligned for you, that's the path you should follow. Like if you feel drawn to it. And
it sounds like your kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. On paper, it was everything I actually wanted or thought I wanted. And then, I get this call and I can't really respond. They wanted me to start like 1 month later. Of course, that would have been a little bit difficult with my actual work because there's like a period of time before you can start a new one. And so I told them, give me the weekend to think about it and I'll call you back on Monday. And Monday arrives and I'm like, I have no clue what I'm going to tell them because I don't have a rational answer. I don't really know what's waiting for me. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pick up the phone and see what comes out of my mouth. I'm going to improvise completely. And usually when I'm spontaneous, that's where when I don't overthink things, then that's when I speak from the heart and
the true self.
Yeah. And I believe it's then my intuition, kind of, even if I don't have the answers. It's so I called them and I said, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, actually, there's a personal project that I want to do, and I don't want to accept it right now. I really want to do that first. And they asked me what it was, and I want to travel again, and I'm going to take a career break. And that just like the words like came out of my mouth like this. And they say, how much time would you need? And I said, I don't know, 3-4 months. Okay, we're ready to wait for you. And then I'm like, oh no.
Damn it.
Damn it.
They're gonna wait.
And I was like, no, that was not the answer I was expecting. I was hoping for them to make the decision in my place in some way. Like secretly, I was hoping for a no, even though I didn't know that when I was calling them. And then I just said, you know what? I have to follow my intuition, but I know that once that I will be traveling, there's going to be probably new opportunities, or I know that traveling changes me in a positive way, and that it always has like an impact on me. And I don't know how I'm going to come out of this new adventure. So right now I'm going to say no. I'm going to follow my intuition. I prefer to say no because once I commit to something, I like to fully commit, and I don't want them to be disappointed and wait for me for 3-4 months, and then me calling them a little bit later. Well, actually, I changed my mind, so I said, okay, no, I prefer to say no right now. And surprisingly, the woman that I had been interacting with said, "Well, this is super brave of you. I love that you're following your intuition, and thank you for
that on the call.
Oh yeah, I'm very spontaneous.
Like it hit you there and then, and you were like, this is it.
Yeah.
How long was the call?
15-20 minutes, something like that. Yeah, not very long, but at the same time, I had a good connection with her, and I felt comfortable enough to. I would have said it anyway, I think, because
it was there.
It was there,
and you trusted yourself. Yeah. You trusted yourself that whatever would come out came out.
Yeah, exactly.
And the right thing ended up coming out.
It did. So the next step was to take the actual career break, which I did. And I remember 2 weeks before the last day of my work, and I still had no idea what I wanted to do during that time. I had taken 3 months, I think. And I had been talking with a friend because I was going through a difficult time and questioning everything in my life. And that friend had been going through the same kind of phases. And the year before that, he had, when we were talking over the phone, he was walking on the Camino de Santiago. And suddenly I was like, it hit me. I was like, okay, I think I want to go walk. Like I had no experience walking. And that's what actually led me to start walking the Camino. And without any preparation or like physical preparation, maybe I walked like an hour here, an hour there, but that's it. I told my friends and family, I'm just going to go walk a few days and see where it leads me. But I ended up walking the whole thing and walking for 6 weeks and 900 kilometers. And it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And
it's almost like you trusted your body again to just tell you what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like you did on the phone call with the interviewer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think the summer before that, I had another accident with my accident. Something happened with my knee. I had an injury, but it was an injury that was coming back. And the cross ligaments were torn. And so I had decided not to get another surgery because I had already had 3 in my life. And it had been always very difficult for me because not being able to move felt like I was kind of dying, that I was associating both. And so the Camino for me was more about, at first, like the initial intention behind it was like, I want to be in control of my body again and prove to myself that my body can heal in a different way than maybe traditional medicine or... and that's what brought me to the Camino. But I think the most surprising is that even if you come with an intention, that's what I've experienced and talking with other people that have done the Camino. It's usually there's something completely, like I really thought that, okay, I'm going to take care of my body and get control over it. And I will also have some time to think about what I want to do with my life. And but at the end, honestly, I didn't think about work at all. Or what I wanted to do after. The answers came months later after that. I had maybe like some
What did you think about?
When you're walking like that, like between 20 and 30 kilometers a day, the only thing you're thinking about is hot shower, food. It's like really the very basics. And you're every maybe 30 minutes or like twice an hour at least, you're reconnecting with your body and what are my needs right now? Like, what do I need? You're scanning your body and you're like, okay, do I feel pain here? No. How can I be more comfortable? So you're not thinking at all about the rest. And it's actually, that's what grounded me so much. And I think I was missing that, feeling grounded and just in the present. So that was one of my biggest lessons during the Camino. It was to feel grounded and to enjoy the present moment. And suddenly you start like seeing all the beauty around you because I'm going to say it with brackets, your job in a certain way is to get from point A to point B. Doesn't matter what point B is, you can decide along the way. But your only mission of the day is to walk. And you spend like 6 to 8 hours outside, doesn't matter what the weather is, you're still going to be walking. And I don't know, so I just started seeing all the beauty around me and enjoying the random conversations I had with people I was meeting along the way. Some of the encounters I had, I could have like such deep conversations with people, listening about their... life stories, and by the end of, I don't know, maybe we would walk for 2 or 3 hours together and then we would split ways just because we didn't have the same rhythm or we were not stopping in the same town, and I wouldn't even know their name. Like we didn't even exchange names, and that happened a lot. It was not about like your identity, like what's your name and where do you come from. We were having like deeper conversations, and sometimes it was even easier to talk to people that I didn't know than there were things I said that I probably haven't said to anyone back home. Or so yeah, I think those were the life lessons I took from the Camino.
What were the most inspiring stories that you had?
Oof. I don't know if I. That's a good question. I would have to think about it. I can say like I was mostly surprised how resilient people are. It's not only one story. It's all the stories together. When you think about what came out of it, was like, oh my gosh, people are so resilient. They're always choosing the positive side of things, even though they've gone through a lot. So yeah.
So we had like your first life or your first, experiences in Brussels, and then there was the journey of transformation that you went on, and now you're like, okay, I want to help people reconnect to their dreams, right? And it's almost like it's an unknown career. Like it's not a career. It's not a traditional. Like it's not like I'm going to become a doctor. It's like I'm going to help people connect to their dreams. And in a way, you've been building yourself up to it for years, even just being in the role that you were in Brussels. How is it that you see what you're trying to achieve? Is it like, is it a counseling thing that's in your mind? Is it like, it's almost like a medical doctor thing? Is it like employment counseling or coaching? Like, what is it that you see that you want to be?
I none of the above.
None of the above.
I really see myself more as a dream catalyst. Like, I want to inspire people to dream big and to not forget about their dreams. And I would love to be not to be, but to spark something in them. And not just me, but through the experiences and through the collective, because I like to create collective experiences, because I truly believe that everyone is inspiring in some way and that we can all spark some inspiration. So yeah, it's more about planting a little seed and like, hey, don't forget to dream. Like it's so important. It's what I really see our dreams as our inner compass, and that they kind of guide us through life and also guide us to meet the right people or to go to the right places. So yeah, I would more see myself as a dream catalyst that spreads like a little bit of magic and just like awareness as well. Or yeah, I'm like, hopefully at least that's my intention behind it. I hope to spark that.
Sarah calls the dream catalyst. Okay, I have a question. So a lot of your stuff and a lot of the things that you've mentioned have been about community, and I know this about you anyway, obviously, you're a community facilitator right now. What is the connection between the individual and the community? Like in the past in Brussels, you had this individualness, like this one-to-one thing that you were doing, where you were helping the individual connect. And then you've mentioned about like even on the Camino, when you think about the collective resilience of the people, it's not just one story, it's the collective story. And now you're in a community and you're helping people connect with their dreams with each other. Like, what's this connection between the individual and the community?
I think it also came from my own experience during my path of transformation. There's a lot of tools that already exist, and either in the self-development sector kind of, or I went to see a therapist. I tried a lot of different things, but at the same time, I felt so alone in this process. And every time I was going to the collective, like, I don't know, my first time in a co-living, or every time I was doing one of those volunteer jobs where there was always a community or a sense of community, I think that's where I learned the most. And I think that was the missing ingredient to my personal growth in some way. So that's also something I wanted to offer to people. It's like, you don't have to be alone in this process. You don't. Actually, I feel like we're stronger together than alone, even though some things, of course, are quite personal, and you also have to look inward to find the answers. But inspiration thrives, according to me, when we're all together, and also when you're having fun, when you're being playful, creative. And that's where usually all the answers came to me, instead of when I was only doing the inner work on my own. I don't know, I think that's what led me back to the community again. And I thought, no, I want to do collective experiences as well. Like, it's nice to do it on your own, and I think it's part of it. And in most of the experiences I create, there is some introspection, but there's also the collective, because I think both intertwine in some way, and makes the process even better. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah.
No, it makes absolute sense. And what it makes me think is the connection of this to the nomad reality. Mm-hmm. That nomad, by their nature, if they're individual, it is a lonely path, and it is harder to achieve.
Yeah.
But when you're together with people, and obviously you're recognizing this because you're surrounded by nomads, that it's easier to connect with them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And so are you focusing on nomads to help them through that journey, or is this like a wider thing?
It's just the lifestyle I chose for myself.
Because you're a nomad.
Because I'm currently a nomad, and freedom is one of my highest values. So be able to travel and meet super interesting people, and people that come from all different sides of the world. It's what nourishes me. So in order for me to live my dream life, I also have to listen to how I feel joyful and fulfilled, and traveling is a big part of that, which is why the experience I do are currently in co-livings, because that's the life I chose for me as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it will always be like that, because I think as we grow and we evolve, our vision evolves as well, like and our needs and what we want from life. But currently, that matches my lifestyle, and that brings me joy. And so, yeah, currently I would say that the experience I create, you will find them in existing co-livings, and hopefully one day in my co-living, in my Casita. But yeah, so right now I'm focusing on that. But I'm also I am actually about to launch another offer, which is called Draw Me a Dream, where I will be more on a one-on-one level, even though I'm still thinking how I could make it...
Intertwine it into a group?
Yeah, into a group. Yeah. Because right now, the way I envision it is I start on like one-on-one, on a one-on-one journey. But at some point, I'm pretty sure it's going to come back to the collective, even if it's online or in person. It can be in person as well. And that, honestly, anyone, you don't have to be traveling as long as you are curious about reconnecting with your dreams. So no, I want also, I don't know, I want everyone to to reconnect with their dreams. But yeah, so I guess it would be also for a wider range of people. Yeah.
It's like you're living You're living a dream that many people have. The dream to travel, the dream to be a nomad, the dream to, I mean, you've been in this chateau for like a year now or something, like for almost a year. And you're helping people connect with their dreams, which is awesome. And I guess that is many people's dreams, or it would be a dream that people have. And you're also working towards your own dreams with La Casita de la Magia, your own experiences, which at the moment is still in its early phases. And I'm really excited to see where that goes. The question I have is, how do you reconcile the fact that you're working towards a dream and you're helping people towards a dream while you're also working on your dream? Like it's almost like it's like when someone is, it's like a therapist, you know, they still have their own problems, but they're helping people on the journey for their problems. But it doesn't mean that their problems don't exist and that they've got everything figured out. So how does it work? Like how do you help people on their journey while also helping yourself on your journey?
As I'm doing and experiencing, because I'm still, like you said, in the quite early phase of my project, and I'm experiencing a lot. I feel like the people that are taking part of the experience, in the experience I create, they're actually inspiring me in their own way and contributing to my dream. And for me, the journey is the dream. So it makes complete sense that people would be part of my dream, and I don't know, no, not me being part of their dream, but being maybe that person that sparks something.
You're the dream catalyst. Of course, you're part of their dream.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I always see it like, for me, we're all one. I don't know. It's, and it's all about helping each other out, being, showing support for each other, cheering for each other's dreams. And if we can all be that person in someone's dream, vision, I think that's how we spread the love and spread the energy. And sometimes I know it's quite utopist. How do you say it? Utopic.
Utopic.
Utopic to believe that, but I think that's the biggest intention behind everything I do, is to spread wonder and positive energy, and then maybe that person will help someone else with their dreams in some way, and at the end everyone is living a life that feels much more aligned. And I think that's how I want to contribute to the world, and how everyone can contribute to the world. It's like if you're following your dreams, you're inspiring others to do so, and then that person starts reconnecting with their dreams and they inspire other people around them. So I don't know if I've answered really the question, but
I think you have. I think you've answered it in the sense that you are the catalyst for others, and at the same time you're catalyzing yourself, and at the same time you're catalyzing the people who are the others, are the ones you've inspired, the people that they connect to, and you just spread your goodness into the world.
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah. Okay, I think we're actually at time. I think we've even crossed the half an hour mark. But the good thing is, we have plenty of time together. So, maybe we can talk some other time. But thank you, Sarah.